All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. If it couldn't get worse, when the president's son says that Democrats want millions of Americans dead from the coronavirus so that Donald Trump could win in 2020. While all that's going on yesterday, Donald Trump claimed that he was meeting with, quote-unquote, black leaders. That's right. That's what he said. Black leaders. Well, some of those black leaders, a duo called Diamond and Silk. Names are Lynette Hardaway and Rochelle Richardson. Facebook called them unsafe to the community. They rose to fame for their YouTube videos in support of Donald Trump. One of their most popular videos is going after Megyn Kelly after the 2016 presidential debate. They told Kelly to go back to reporting the news for Sesame Street after Kelly brought up some of the things that Trump said, calling women fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Hardaway then called Kelly a bitch. Richardson makes a beeping noise to censor her sister. These are two women that appear to me to be extremely uneducated. They can't even speak English. But according to Donald Trump, they're black leaders. And he spent a good 45 minutes to an hour with them yesterday. So if you're unfamiliar with Diamond and Silk, if you're unfamiliar with what they sound like and the things they say, and if you still think they're black leaders, I want you to have a listen to this. This is them speaking at the CPAC back in 2020.
Ask for letters in Democrats.
Yeah.
Spell rats.
Rats. R-A-T-S.
Yeah. And the symbol happened to be a donkey. Did y'all know that?
Their symbol is a donkey.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, but to you Democrats.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
You may make an ass out of you,
Uh-huh.
but you won't make an ass out of us.
No, you won't.
No.
Oh,
No, you won't.
You won't.
Yes, you will. Yes,
You
you
won't
will.
do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not to us.
Mm-hmm.
No, you won't.
Yes, you
You
will.
can keep your free stuff
Keep it.
because we don't want it.
That's right.
That's right.
Now, the last four letters in Republican is I can.
I can.
I can.
Think about it, y'all.
Think about
I
it.
can.
Think
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Black
I
leader.
can think for myself.
Oh,
Myself.
That's for sure.
I can pull myself up by my bootstraps.
Yes, I can.
No, you
And
can't.
I can obtain the American dream.
Yes, I can.
Boy, it couldn't have spoken any better. Sounds just like Martin Luther King Jr. Wow, those are really black leaders. Very intelligent people. Extremely intelligent. Boy, Donald Trump couldn't have chose any better.
Wait, what makes those two particular African-American women unintelligent, Brian?
Well, if you go by their past, I don't know if you have, if you see the statements that they've made, if you see they can't even speak third-grade English, if you see the unfactual things that they have said over the course of the last several years, dating back to 2016, I think it's pretty fair to say if you can't speak third-grade English, then you probably shouldn't be called a quote-unquote leader.
But did you actually listen to what they were saying there?
Yeah, about Democrats, the rats, and Republicans. I can. Yeah, I listened very closely.
They're saying that
It was very
African-Americans in the
intelligent.
United States don't need the government to prop them up, that they can make their own success on their own.
They said a lot of other things, too, though. You didn't hear some of the other stuff they said? Rats, Democrats, Republicans, I can.
Is the word rat in Democrat, Brian?
Do you really think a black leader should be speaking like that?
I'm just asking you, is it? Or is
It is.
It is. Okay.
Yeah, it is. But
So that's fact.
And that's very important to
Well,
bring
at
that
least
up.
you can't call them liars.
That's very important. No, they are liars because they say things that are not factual. And then we have another guy, a former NFL player. This is just unbelievable. That was in the meeting yesterday. His name is Jack Brewer. He's a former NFL safety, played college ball at Southern Methodist University. Have a listen to what he said at this meeting yesterday.
But I gotta say this because this is Black History Month. Man, you the first black president.
So if you had problems hearing that, the audio's not great. He called Donald Trump the first black president. First of all, just to let Jack know, Donald Trump is not black. He's white. So just to be factual on that one, 87% of Donald Trump's cabinet happens to be white. So for the first black president, he's certainly not choosing minorities to work in his cabinet. And this farce that Donald Trump has done all these great things for black people because the unemployment rate is low. Let me read you just a few things that Barack Obama has done. Because, you hear the argument all the time. Barack Obama did nothing for minorities, and Donald Trump is the first black president. And Donald Trump has done so much for black people. Well, the poverty rate for African Americans fell faster in 2015 than in any year since 1999, but you won't hear that from the right. Since the start of the Affordable Care Act's first open enrollment period at the end of 2013, the uninsured rate among non-elderly African Americans declined more than half. Teen pregnancy among African American women was at a historic low during the Barack Obama presidency. Life expectancy at birth, the highest it's ever been for African Americans. High school graduation rates for African American students were at the highest point in history since the president took office. And I'm talking about Barack Obama, not Donald Trump. Over 1 million more black and Hispanic students enrolled in college. African Americans and Hispanic students 25 and older, high school completion higher than ever before. The number of juveniles in secure detention reduced dramatically over the decade or so that Barack Obama was in office. Incarceration rates went down. The president ordered the Justice Department to ban the use of solitary confinement for juveniles held in federal custody. And there are 8 million minority-owned firms in the U.S. It was a 30% increase since 2007, since Barack Obama took office. He's made 62 lifetime appointments of African Americans to serve on the federal bench. So don't you give me this crap that Trump has done so much more than Barack Obama did for minorities, because it's a joke and it's a lie. You want to give me a few policies that Trump has implemented to help African Americans? That's fine. But you want to call leaders of the black community Diamond and Silk? A couple of so-called YouTube stars that sound like they don't have their GED? They're black leaders? Seriously, what would Martin Luther King Jr. say about that? The first black president? The number to call, 702-257-5396. Again, that number to call, 702-257-5396. And if you want a few more quotes from Diamond and Silk, they said, Comey is not our homie, clink, clink. That's just one of many quotes. Trump's...
They appear to be comedians, Brian. They appear to have entertainment in their act, and part of that is using, we'll call it second grade grammar, not quite third grade grammar, 8-year-old grammar, if you will, on occasion.
Is that a black leader?
As far as Jack Brewer goes, clearly Donald Trump is not actually biologically African American.
He's the first orange president.
Clearly, he's not.
He's the first orange president.
To Jack Brewer, is it possible that he relates to Donald Trump as if he is, as opposed to Barack Obama, who actually was biologically partially African?
I just want to read a few more quotes from Diamond and Silk. Trump's yo president, so get over it. Shut up, Joy, in regards to MSNBC. We classy and we sassy, but if you cross us, things may get a little nasty. Boy, that sounds like a black leader to me if I've ever heard one. We did not lie on that show, talking about the NRA's annual meeting. We didn't lie on that show. We did that show on the 11th. We were contacted by Facebook on the 12th. Don't try to mince my words. These are just a few things Diamond and Silk have said over the course of the last several years. She goes, if the shoe was on the other foot and Mark Zuckerberg was a conservative and we were liberals, all fences and chains would have broke loose. You know it and we know it. These are the comments of Diamond and Silk. 257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Malik. Malik, you are first up on the Vegas Take. What's going on, my friend?
Hey, what's up, Malik?
Hey, fellas, how's it going? Hey,
Good.
Katie, first of all, let me set the record straight. Truth to power. If you have any melanin in your skin, you're not partially a melanated person. You are fully melanated. So Barack is not partially black. He's a black man, meaning he's melanated. Okay. Secondly,
I appreciate that, Malik.
Diamond and Silk are what we call bootlickers. The same as Jack Brewer. He's a bootlicker. That Reverend Scott, bootlicker, coon, you can call him whatever you want. I don't know if Trump pays them or gives them little stipends or whatever, but those are typically those people that are at that prayer breakfast. Black people in the whole, we look at them, we call them bootlickers. They're like suckers.
Malik, I just call them idiots because I think they're idiots.
Because anytime you go up there and you say that President Trump, whether he relates or not, is the first black president, you must be smoking crack. And that Diamond and Silk Those are what they're like real, like what you call clowns. Not those are real. They are real clowns.
They're circus clowns, is what they are. Yeah.
And you know what? The right is having just such a ball with them.
Malik,
and so does Trump.
I agree.
Trump loves it.
Malik,
Yeah.
I agree.
But thanks, man. I just want to let you know what we call them. In our community, we call them bootlickers.
So what are you trying to say, Malik? That the president isn't black? I'm sorry, that was a bad joke. Malik, thanks. Thanks.
He's melanated because he's got orange skin.
That's true. That's true, Malik. Thanks for the call, Malik. I love you, my friend. Thanks for calling in. 257-5396. Let's go to Richard. Richard, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Richard?
Yeah, I wouldn't call them black leaders, but they are extremely inspiring because in these times it takes enormous courage for any African American to stand up and publicly say they support.
What just happened? Did we just lose Richard? Richard, what just happened? Did we lose you? Richard, are you back? I'm sorry.
I'm here.
Go ahead. I apologize. Finish your thought there. We lost you for a second.
Sure. Yeah, I think it takes tremendous courage for any African American to publicly state that they support President Trump right now, and I think they show enormous intelligence in that they know that they'll get a lot of attention that way.
Can I ask you a question, Richard?
Of course, they're working to make money.
Richard,
they clearly are marketing in a specific manner.
Enormous courage.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
The fact that they're probably two of the only African American women to do what they're doing, they know it's going to definitely increase their public profile.
So, Richard, I appreciate the call.
And draw attention to themselves, and they are making money, and there's no problem with making money.
Well, here's my problem with what Richard just said. Richard just used the term courage. Okay, to me, my definition of courage is going on the battlefront, risking your life to save someone's life. Firefighters, police officers. Hold on, let me finish my thought. Okay, that's the definition of courage. The opposite of courage is going on YouTube saying ridiculous things to try to profit off of it. That's exactly what Diamond and Silk are doing. It doesn't take courage to set up a webcam and say stupid, illiterate things and profit off of it to try to make money. That is the opposite of courage. And by the way, when you say you wouldn't call them black leaders, guess who did call them black leaders? Your president of the United States. 257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Carl. Carl, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Carl?
Yeah, JD, Brian. Listen, about a year and a half ago, about what Uday Jr. said, I told you this, that in Germany, they were injecting monkeys, and this is true, the scientists, with human DNA to make the monkeys a little more intelligent, to make them respond better to certain things. But I investigated it, and I found out exactly what they were doing. They're trying to breed more Trump sons.
Well, I guess that could be possible, Carl. We appreciate that thought. 702-257-5396. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Victor. Victor, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Victor?
Just a quick comment. Good morning, by the way. So basically, I listen to both sides of the argument, right? When it comes to Trump, when it comes to Obama, and all this. So I listen to both sides, and I just think to myself, what better country we would have if the press, commentators, and all these people that are influential in a way would actually criticize both parties with the same comb. Basically, brush them with the same comb. What better country we would have?
Well,
I'm listening to your point right now that you're saying, okay, Donald Trump Jr., he's this, he's that.
Well, he is.
Sure, but then again, on the other side, we had Jenny Fox calling Obama a Lord and Savior, and
okay. Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question then. Let's take that. What do you think is worse? Somebody calling the president Lord and Savior, or the son of the president saying that Democrats want millions of Americans dead so that Trump will not be reelected in 2020? What do you think is a worse and more irresponsible thing to say?
It's all a political game if you think about it.
That's not what I asked you.
Russia.
That's not what I asked you. With all due respect, I get it. It's a political game. I asked you a very specific question.
That's exactly what it is. I mean,
what is a worse thing to say? What is a worse? If you think the president is your Lord and Savior, I don't feel that way about Obama.
I don't think so. No, I mean Obama didn't do anything for me.
Okay, and that's fine. That's fine.
At the end, this is what it all falls into, right? A politician doesn't really give us anything. All they do is
but
take
that's
our
not what
taxes
I.
and they spread it among themselves.
But we're getting into the weeds here. I get what you're saying. I don't necessarily disagree with you, Victor. But here's my point: the son of the president of the United States said this morning on Fox and Friends that Democrats want millions of innocent Americans dead from the coronavirus so that his president isn't reelected. Do you understand the seriousness of making a statement like that?
I know it's a serious accusation. I totally see that. But then again, you look at CNN and all they're doing is basically saying, okay, this is coming. The markets are falling. What is that going to do to
the markets are falling.
In a way,
that's a fact.
Creating, CNN, NBC, they're creating that atmosphere in a way because they're actually saying, yeah, this is coming. This is going to affect
and you're totally right.
We're not even going to be able to vote. They're creating it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny how that works.
No, fear does definitely perpetuate something like that by like having a giant stock market crash. That takes place because people are scared, and the media is definitely creating that fear or pushing that fear in that type of direction. So you definitely can't deny that, Brian.
I'll tell you what the media did not create. That is something called the coronavirus.
Obviously, Brian.
I'll tell you what the media did not create, the fact that the stock market is down. That's what the media did not create. Say whatever you want.
You are wrong there. The media doing what they've been doing with the coronavirus has absolutely affected the stock market. How could you say that it has not?
Let's take some more phone calls. Phone lines are jammed. I think we have one line open, 257-5396. Go to Kara. Kara, you are next up on the Vegas Take.
Hey, what's up,
I
Kara?
have a couple things to say, a few things. I have a contention with something you said earlier that the Democrats are happy that the stock market's falling.
I didn't say that.
Invest in the stock market.
Yeah, I didn't say that, Kara.
It's not just the Republicans. And
JD said that. I didn't say that.
You were just saying to the other gentleman about how the media is creating all this.
Yeah.
That is BS. An informed public is critical to stopping the virus.
Agree.
Okay? And they have to inform. That is their job.
Kara?
I'm a journalist.
Yeah.
And that's what journalists do. Their job is to inform people. It's not creating fear.
Hey, Kara?
Lying.
Kara,
they're telling you the facts.
No, Kara.
Who's not telling you the facts is the Trump administration. Do you know they're not testing people in the United States? We could have thousands of people infected. There's 8,400 people in California right now who are being watched, but no one's tested.
Hey, Kara, can I interject real quickly? Kara?
Under Trump doesn't have enough test kits.
Kara,
to test people. There was one lady who ended up having the virus who's in critical condition right now in Northern California, but no one would test her because the CDC, we don't have enough.
Kara.
We're not preparing for this. We're not doing what it takes. Trump has cut all the important people. He cut scientists.
Okay, Kara. First of all, this is Brian speaking. I agree with everything you said. I never said. I think you're speaking about my co-host JD. So I'm going to let. Okay, so Karis, hang on the line. I want JD to respond to what you just said. Go ahead, JD.
Okay. I said the media is perpetuating it by pushing. Obviously, they didn't create anything. They didn't create the virus. They haven't created the way that the virus has been presented. But by perpetuating it, it's obviously affecting the stock market. And I do, and I do. Hey, Kara, wait. Hey, Kara, wait.
The public of what is happening, that is perpetuating it.
Okay.
No, it's not. That's giving people information that is critically needed to protect themselves. Okay, it's also they're not causing the stock market to go down. What's causing the stock market to go down is there's a worldwide pandemic that's affecting supply lines for manufacturer companies and many other things. Schools are closing in some countries, and companies are closing, and they're limiting travel. That's what's affecting the stock market. You know, using this fake news, blame the media for everything is a bunch of BS on your part. I'm sorry. But basically, you need to start looking at what this administration is doing and get the facts that are happening that people don't even realize. I bet you don't. I read 15 to 20 articles a day about what Trump is doing. Do you know he's stripping, that they have a task force now at the Department of Justice that is stripping people of their citizenship? Okay.
All right, Kara. Well, listen, I appreciate your sentiment. JD, respond. Go ahead. She made some good points there.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Donald Trump, if he has a poor economy, the Democrats that do not want him in office will be very, very happy about that. Clearly, you are one of those Democrats. Am I correct on that, Kara?
Well, when I do this signal,
she's gone.
Off the line, yeah.
And I believe that is a pretty consistent thing across the board right now.
257-5396, the number to call. Let's go to Clay. Clay, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
What's up, Clay?
Bill Clinton was the first black sleeping president. you played the saxophone.
All right, Clay, thank you for the
very
phone
good call,
call.
Clay.
I think you play the saxophone, but that's another story for another show. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Lewis. Lewis, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's up?
What's up, Lewis?
Lewis, did we lose you? I think we might have lost. I think we might have lost Lewis. Lewis, are you there? 257-5396 is the number to call. Lewis, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
JD, good morning. And what are we talking about today? Trump.
So what would you like to talk about? What would you like to talk about today? What's in the news?
JD,
Lewis,
you know what
Lewis,
we could talk about?
Lewis.
We could talk about how a stadium goes up in 6 months.
All right,
But
ladies and gentlemen.
Paradise
Okay,
Road
hold on,
and
Lewis. Lewis, hang on for a second.
feels like you're
Pod him
driving
down
in
for a second.
Afghanistan.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Vegas Take. I'm Brian Shapiro. Our new host of the show is Lewis. Lewis, welcome to the Vegas Take. Take it away, brother.
Hey JD, why don't you guys make that effort to get Public Works on there and discuss how come Koval and Paradise have been in disarray for 20 years, but a stadium can go up in 6
So
months.
you think we should do 3 hours in talking about a stadium, and you think we should lead the show in talking about the Raiders Stadium when we got the coronavirus going on, when we got everything in the political spectrum going on. But Lewis is a Trump supporter, so he thinks we should do an hour and talk about the structure of the Raiders Stadium. Lewis, I got to tell you, my friend, I'm glad you're not our producer, because if you were our producer, we wouldn't have 2 listeners. You might be the only listener we have. Thank you so much for the advice. We really appreciate it. We really highly look at your opinion greatly. Thank you so much for that call. That might be the worst call we've ever had. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to David. David, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's up?
Hey, what's up, David?
Hey, good morning, guys. Trying to have a rational conversation about this, if we can.
Absolutely. Just don't say we need to talk about the Raiders Stadium to start the show.
Yeah, no, we're not going to talk about it. So
Okay.
I'm a day trader. I look at the market every day. And, we got to remember we're coming off of all-time highs on the stock market.
Right.
And a lot of what's built into the price is growth. And clearly this is going to hamper growth in the economy. I mean, there's no question about that. People are going to be afraid to get on airplanes. People are going to be, concerned about travel and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a ripple effect. So that's why the stock market's going down, pure and simple.
Okay. Anything else you want to add to that? Go ahead.
Well, yeah, no, and a couple other things. Well, but I do believe that the media does create some panic.
Of course they do. Absolutely. And that caller, Kara, that called in is just clearly a giant Trump hater. The media has a big deal about why the stock market is doing what it's doing. And the media would be elated if the stock market stayed this bad for the next 6 to 7 months and ran into the election time for Donald Trump. And and the crazy part is that the media and the Democrats, if this were to take place, it wouldn't actually help the Democrats. You know who it would help? It would help Bernie Sanders.
Can I add something to that?
It would help the socialist Bernie Sanders.
David, can I add something to that, though? There is a fine line between saying the media plays a role in the panic and then what the president's son said this morning.
Well, that was
Hold on, let me finish. Saying that Democrats want millions of people dead from the coronavirus so his father is not elected in 2020. There's a fine line between saying the media plays a role and then idiots getting on the radio on the right that are saying it's the deep state, it's the deep state. Do you get my point, David? While I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying, there's an extreme on the right, including the son of the president of the United States, that has a responsibility not to say those things. You see where I'm getting at?
I completely agree with you. It would have been nice, however, yesterday when the president had his news conference and he was trying to be very reassuring and upbeat. We got people working on this. We've got this and that and the other thing. And really what I saw the Democrats doing is come out and saying, oh, you're incompetent. This isn't going to work. That's not going to work. Oh, everybody panicked. So I did see that panic coming from Democrats talking about how, no, it's not going to be okay. It's just not going to be okay. They're not doing their job. They didn't have enough money. They didn't do this. No president's going to be prepared for this. No administration. COVID-19, nobody heard of it 3 months ago.
Look, David, make no mistake about it.
And now this is a way to look at Donald Trump's cuts he's made to CDC money or something along those lines, and then use that against him. Say, well, why did he not have the perfect 2020 hindsight vision and see this thing coming?
David,
that'll be the next conversation.
David, I appreciate the phone call. Listen, make no mistake about
Good call, David.
I'm not sitting here and saying that this is all the president's fault.
How can you?
But what I am going to say is this: I am very uncomfortable with the vice president being quote-unquote in charge of this, when this is a man back in 2000 who said that smoking doesn't kill. This is a man who literally would rather pray instead of take medication to cure something. I'm very uncomfortable with somebody like that running the show. With that being said, in talking about yesterday and Diamond and Silk, he spent an hour with quote-unquote black leaders. That's what he called Diamond and Silk, black leaders. I have a serious problem with that as well. What a waste of time. I named you all the things that Obama did to help minorities in this country. Don't you tell me that Donald Trump is the first black president. If you want to be accurate, he's the first orange president. What is it that Bill Maher said, by the way? He was his mother, he was the son of an orangutan. I think that's what Bill Maher said. And then Donald Trump tried to sue him. That lawsuit was dropped, by the way, because Bill Maher, last I checked, he's a comedian. Would I say Bill Maher is a white leader? I mean, that's really what we're talking about. I'll tell you, Bill Maher's a lot smarter than Diamond and Silk. I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you that much. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to take a quick break. And when we come back in a few minutes here, we are going to be talking and continuing this conversation on the other side, taking all your calls. We got plenty of people on hold. We got one phone line open, 702-257-5396. Take a quick break. Be back right after this. You're listening to The Vegas Take.